Hey everyone. Welcome to Zoetic Chat. Unleash your life's journey with me, John Mayfield. This ultimate podcast for spiritual guidance will answer all your life, soul and spiritual questions. I'm thrilled to have you join me every week. My vast knowledge, wisdom and experience are crucial to your personal and spiritual growth. Together we will explore a variety of topics and delve deeply into the truths of my life and spiritual path. Don't forget to sign up to my newsletter at johnmayfield.com. Hey everyone. Welcome to episode 6, Zoetic Chat, Unleash Your Life's Journey. What a life we have, really. We have such an amazing life. So many emotions, so many ups and downs, so many connections to different people on all different levels, in all different ways. Today, I'd like to talk about past lives. I was on my TikTok live the other day. And this is a bit of an impromptu podcast because some of them were saying that they'd like my podcast to be about past lives. And coincidentally, I do have some past life sessions, which I will talk about later. Why would we look at a past life? Why would we want to connect to a past life of ours? But first, we need to go back a little bit further, not in our past lives, but in our belief system. To be able to fully connect really to the past lives, you would need to have the belief that we reincarnate. Because if you believe that once you're gone, there's nothing else, finished, kaput, ended, then you won't even understand or want to connect to past lives because they wouldn't exist if you didn't reincarnate. People having multiple lives and growing and producing that sense of being, but also it can produce a sense of unease. Sometimes we feel so uneasy in our lives and we don't know why. Sometimes we have fears and feelings that they don't really feel part of us, but we don't know where they are or how they came about. The way I got into past lives was doing numerous readings, one-to-one sessions with people. And you know that I connect to the universe, source, that gives me all my teachings and my information to help other people in their lives. Well, I started to notice that more and more I was being shown people's past lives, that their lives in their past were having an influence on their present times. And it was kind of a therapy for these people. They used to have a recognition in life now about the things that I was talking about in their past lives. For example, the fears and the phobias. And I remember one occasion where I was speaking to someone and I was saying along the lines of that the universe is showing me that in a past life, you were stabbed in the stomach to the right of alongside your belly button to the right of there, and that it would give you gut issues in another life. Well, that person turned out to have a scar there, and it was like a birth scar. The mum said it was a birthmark. But was it a birthmark, or was it a mark that she brought through from another life? She did have gut issues. She had IBS and something wrong with her colon. We did a little bit of therapy together and we released the connection to that past life. I did tell her who she was, what age she was, and all those kind of things, and how she got stabbed. And so much of what I said to her resonated with her life now, and in ways that she was being held back. So we released that connection to the past life for those things that needed to be released, because not always do you need to release things, because sometimes you bring the good stuff forward, the good stuff, the energetic stuff that stops you, keeps you motivated, and helps you in this life. So there's two ways of looking at it. So over time, I gave lots of people information about their past lives. And instead of the universe carrying on to tell me about their past lives, they took me into their past lives. So I could see, I became the person that they were. I could say what I could see, smell, hear, and sense, just as though they were going into it, or I was their past life, which I suppose really is no different to mediumship or any other connection to something that is no longer earthly. It's actually amazing where these universal connections can take you. So I started seeing and being in the person's past life. So I described and explained anything and everything. And I always remember one lady, I was walking. I was actually, it started off, I'm just trying to recall. It started off where I was a little boy and I was standing by a pond, and my grandma was sitting on the veranda of a straw house. This was actually one of my past lives. I started to tell you then something about another past life, and they're bringing in the universe never stops connecting to me. The universe started showing me one of my past lives, one of my lives that I'd forgotten about. So I remember having this past life regression, and this is what they showed me. I was a young boy, and there was a pond, and there was ducks on the pond. My grandma was sitting on the veranda, and as she was sitting on the veranda, she was watching me and looking after me. I don't know where anybody else was, even if I'd got any other family, but it was just me and my grandma. And I'd got one of these, I think you call it a pitchfork, where it's got three um, prongs on the end of it, like a hay fork, that kind of thing. My grandma was actually plucking chickens. She'd got chickens in a basket and she was plucking them for market. Anyway, I kept poking these chickens with this, not the chickens, the ducks with this fork, but I wasn't hurting them. I was just, I guess, teasing them, which I shouldn't have been doing, but I did. And I was just playful and enjoying my life, really. And there was nothing wrong with that. I got on really, really well with my grandma, and the house had got reeds for the roof and reeds going around the side. And I feel that I didn't go inside, but I felt that it was mud made out, the inside walls were mud. And I remember seeing a little cart with two back wheels on it, and then there was a horse connected to that. And my grandma, anyway, she kept plucking the chickens. I was messing about doing what I was doing. I felt really happy, I have to say that. Very, very happy as a child, very connected to the grandmother. And she was having a conversation with me, telling me it was time to go to market. And she put the chickens in a box and put them in the back of the cart. And it was me to take them to market. And I think I'd gone forward a few years. Somehow it fast forwarded, and I was probably about 11 or 12 by this point. And she sent me away. She gave me some little bits of food to eat and that. And I was, G up, sending the horse on down this lane. I was going along this lane, just minding my own business, feeling really happy, thinking about my grandmother. And my life ended. Everything went black at 11 or 12. Age 11 or 12, I was. And my life just went black. And I don't know how I died. I know that I passed. They showed me my passing out of that life and into the spirit world. and it was just here one time, gone the next. There was no major problems or anything. I feel, but I don't know, that it was some kind of an accident. Something either hit me or there was some kind of accident, I feel. But that past life was so happy. Now, I had a really, really happy relationship with one of my grandparents. And I feel it was akin to that in the respect that it was a very simple life that she led. She never wanted for much and she didn't always keep up with the times, but she did mentally. She was always on top of everything mentally. And I was really, really close to that grandma. And I am, as her spirit comes around me now. She always made me feel happy. But now I have this inner happiness, excuse me. I have this inner happiness that sometimes I can't explain to people because I'm not particularly doing anything in my life to make me happy. But I always talk to people and say happiness comes from within. And I do believe that happiness comes from within. So in that past life regression that I had, I kept the happiness, I kept the love for the grandmother. And my grandmother was still alive when I had that done, going back a few years now. The other thing with this past life, I was one time when I visited Turkey, I went with a friend and we hired a car to go to a market that was a good distance away, but we thought we'd hire a car. Anyway, we was driving along and she said, you've got to turn left here. I was in a 3-lane road. I'd got to turn left at the traffic lights, cross over another 3-lane road to go to where we needed to go. For some reason, unbeknown to myself, I didn't take that turning. And I put my foot down and I went straight forwards when the traffic lights changed. She said, you needed to go left. I said, I know, but the car wanted to go forwards. Anyway, we carried on and I said, oh, look, we can turn around. There was like a bit of a U-turn space to go. So we turned around and down to the right-hand side of the road, it was down, almost in a valley, really, with these houses, the exact same houses that I'd seen in that past life. Oh my gosh. I was in a hot country and I got freezing cold goosebumps all over my body, running down my spine, and the sweat was just running. I mean, we got the aircon on in the car, but I just got all these feelings, these goosebumps. I've been here before. I know what this is about. And that time in Turkey, I don't know if that was my first or second time, but I haven't stopped going back since. And I know it's my home. I don't feel it was a home just in a past life. I feel it's my home for this life. So up until this day, 2024, the 25th of the 6th, I still feel that Turkey is my home. The houses had got the same roofs, the same walls. There was people in the traditional Turkish dress carrying the reeds and laying them by the side. And everything seemed to be in slow motion. I could see everything they were doing in real life. Makes me breathless to think about it. And it touches my soul so much. And I have that inner happiness. And I'd quite forgotten about that past life. So thank you for the memory. My grandma, she could never drink water. She lived to 100 years and 6 months. She never drank a glass of water. She drank squash, sherry, and tea. And she said to me, I says, why don't you drink water, Nan? She said, it feels like I'm drowning. So for me, one of her past lives, she would have drowned for sure. And I've connected to people now who feel like they're drowning if they drink water. And by connecting to the past lives, we can find which life that connected to. You can release the drowning, which then people can go on and drink water. There's so much. Sometimes your fears, what have you got a fear of? Or what have you got a phobia of? Sometimes, and I'm not saying all, we can connect to a past life and find a fear that we have in this life. I remember one past life connection to someone else. And she was a man in a past life. She was a firefighter, but she fell down the ladder. And in that was just briefly telling you, in this life, she's scared of heights, but she's also scared of falling. And you know, when someone's scared of something, they're so tentative around it that it often happens. Like if you're scared of falling, you walk that tentatively that you do fall. Or if you're scared of something else, you tiptoe around it and you do what you're scared of. So in a way, you're facing your fear that way. But we did let go of the fear of the fireman, and one of her family members is a fireman. Fireman connects an awful lot into that person's life. So those different, just a couple there that show you different things. And sometimes past lives can be symbolic in this life that you need to bring forward. Like I brought the happiness forward in mine and they carried on the connection to my grandma. But you can also bring forward good things. Let's say you, for example, we use money because a lot of people talk about money. When am I going to get money? Why am I got money? Is the money coming into my life? You hear that 10, 20, 30 times every day. But sometimes people have got blocks to money in the past, or sometimes maybe they were rich, maybe they'd got lots of money. Maybe that past life of money was just for that life, or maybe they can bring some of that past life knowledge of how to earn money into this life. There's so many variations that you can use, that you can think about, that you can work with the past lives. The universe with me, when I always connect to people's past lives, they always bring me what they need at that moment in time. And I've got quite a few people that are writing a past life timeline, and they're seeing, by having so many different past life readings and messages with me and sessions, they are building their own timeline of all their past lives. It's really quite interesting. So connecting to a past life, how does it feel? Oh, I'm just going to recognize that it's 11:11 as I'm recording this for those of you that are connecting to your numbers and numerology. Some of you might be seeing 11:11, so I'm just bringing it forward for you. So how does it feel? Have you ever meditated? Have you ever listened to a guided meditation where someone is talking you into a place, on a journey? They're taking you on a journey. They're describing everything so that you can feel, sense it, smell it, and know it. Have you ever done that? If you haven't, go onto YouTube and ask for a guided meditation. Just anyone that comes up. If you've never meditated before, maybe 5 or 10 minutes would be enough for you. But going into one of your past lives, you going into it, you being talked into it, is a deeper guided meditation. So it's longer and deeper, and we tell you where to go and what to do and when the past life is going to come forward, or when you're going to actually be in that past life. So we talk you through everything, and then we bring you out again. So you will see, feel, sense, and know everything that I'm talking about when I take you into a past life. And also, I would create a safe place. My safe places are usually a garden. So I would create a garden for you, with you in the meditation. And you would know that if you didn't like the past life, you could ask to go to the garden and you would be taken there. Then when I talk you out, you would join me at the garden and come out of it. So it's all very safe. It's sometimes awe-inspiring, some of the things you've done, some of the things you've gone through, and you don't always get negative past lives. I remember there was one lady that didn't like stairs. She just hated, even as a child, going upstairs. And her mum said, come on, you're going upstairs. And she was telling me that she used to cry her eyes out when she had to go upstairs. When she came downstairs, she always came down on a bottom. On a bottom, never walking, just downstairs on a bottom, holding on because she was frightened of the stairs. her mum just thought she was messing about, didn't want to go upstairs for bed or whatever her mum had asked her to go upstairs for. But that carried through to adulthood. Now, she didn't always go downstairs on a bottom when she was an adult, but a lot of the time she did. And she just used to say, I can't understand it, Jan. I said, well, let's go into a past life and see where that is. Well, in one of her past lives, when she was 2, she was at the top of the stairs and her brother, I think it was, pushed her. But not only did she roll and fall down the stairs, her head went through a plate glass window. Can you imagine that when you're young and your head going through? There wouldn't be that. The glass is more toughened now. That wouldn't happen. But not the point. It did happen to her in a past life. She didn't die from it. She survived, but she got lots of cuts and scars. In this life, her head is often sore. Maybe that's relating to the cuts. In this life, she still doesn't like going up or downstairs. She will never stand at the top of the stairs. And we released her from that life. And she's now feels free to go up and downstairs. And there was something else connecting to her patio doors at the back as well. She'd got a lounge diner, and at the end of the dining room was a patio doors. And there was a connection there as well. She didn't like opening the patio doors or going out of them, something like that. But that all changed, and she was fine. So for that lady, it changed her life because she didn't think twice or be worried on stairs, anywhere. So that was quite amazing for her as well. So many things come out of past lives. So you're guided into the past life and you're also guided out. You will never get stuck in it. And when you come back, or as you're coming back, we get to a place where we can release you. So if I'm doing one-to-one, I'll talk you through and release you from something connecting to that past life. If I'm doing a group session, which is what I'm going to be doing in July, and I'm going to give you the dates now. The 14th of July 2024, this is at 7 p.m., the 15th of July at 2 p.m., the 28th of July at 6:30 p.m. You can find access to these on my Facebook, Jan Mayfield's page, and I will be putting access to them on my website. If you're on my TikTok, Jan L. Mayfield, make sure you get the right one because there's a lot of copies out there at the moment. I've got quite a high following, so you can and likes, you can check that. And if you go onto my link tree, you will see a link to each one of these where you can go and pay to come in. So you can pay, then I'll send you the Zoom link and you'll be ready. The cost of that is £10 per person per session, and you can come on all sessions if you want. When I'm doing a group session like this, I will talk all of you through into the past life. You will be in it and experiencing it. You will know what you've experienced when you come back, and then you will write down what you experienced, what you feel belongs to this life, what you feel happy with, what you need to let go of. And then you yourself, if you're okay at letting go, can release that, or I can talk everyone through releasing what no longer serves them. Sometimes you need to just pick up on the poignant parts of that life that resonate with you and release that individually to help you to free yourself from that. Other times you can do it as a group, but you can definitely be guided in a group session. You need to make sure that you're not going to be disturbed for at least 2 hours. You need to make sure that your mind's open and you're ready to do it. You need to want to do it. Other than that, you get a resistance and you don't go deep enough. And there's no guarantee with any of it, as with anything else in this sort of work. There's no guarantees. But I don't think I've ever had anyone that couldn't access a past life. They might have not been able to because they got disturbed or someone came in, but you really can't have that happening with these sessions that I'm doing in July. Well, any session really, you can't have anybody coming in and disturbing you. So that's how we do it. And that's why we do it. And that's when we're going to be doing it. But you can access this at any time. You can book a one-to-one with me to connect to a past life for you. You can, we can regress together. I can, sit on a one-to-one and regress. Or if you feel you don't really want to do that, but you want to know a past life, you can do a one-to-one with me and I will dive deep into one of your, or even two of your past lives to see what you need to know in this life to release you. It's all about releasing what no longer serves us and bringing forward what does serve us. So sometimes as well, people get to this point in their life where I've done all my releasing, Jan. I've let go of as much as I can. Nothing's happening. I'm not doing what I want to do. Remember, life isn't always about what you want. It's often about what you need. And they're just stuck. If that's you that's just stuck, then again, try a past life connection, try releasing and see how that works with you. People feel when they've connected to a past life, it kind of gives you more meaning to your life now. It gives you a sense of, yeah, actually, I was that person. So when I was that boy, now I've re-recorded that life. I was that boy helping my grandma and I was happy and I felt good and I wanted to go and share my chickens at the market. All that felt amazing. And I still have that feeling inside me. Sometimes people, have been trapped in minds and release the past life of being trapped in a mind, and it can release them now, not only of the fear of dark spaces or being alone or being trapped or being caged, it just gives them a sense of freedom. That sense of freedom is like, you can't buy it. You can't buy that sense of freedom. You have to be released to experience that sense of freedom. So we're either releasing or keeping with the past lives. We've had multiple lives, if that's your belief. If that isn't your belief, you will have stopped listening by now. But it's important, I believe, to connect to these lives, to release us from these lives, or to bring forward what we need in this life. Part of that will be all about unleashing your life's journey. So who are you in this life? You can help yourself make sense of who you are in this life by bringing forward or releasing a past life. It can also help you with patterns in your life. Patterns are created from a series of past lives. So you might have brought forward something in 10 different past lives, but this past life is the time to break that pattern. And you can do it. You can break that pattern. Are you ready to break the pattern? Do you have a fear of what you'd be like if you break that pattern? Do you have a fear of success? Do you have a fear of being you? Remember, to take fear with you at any given time will help you to be successful and to connect to your pure soul energy that will drive you daily to be the person that you came here to be. Thank you so much for listening to episode 6 of Zoetic Chat, Unleash Your Life's Journey. I can't wait for the next episode, and don't forget to connect to me if you want to know more about past lives or have yourself released from one of yours. Hey, thank you for tuning in today. Your support is much appreciated. Please consider leaving a review, sharing on social media, and telling your friends about my podcast. You can also join my newsletter at johnmayfield.com. Remember, take what resonates from Zoetic Chat and enrich your life with wisdom in all areas. And stay tuned for the next episode.